This was all brush. There were trees over here. They brought the driveway up, and now I have a space for the tiny house. I have a space for a little shed, my trash bins. I get space for everything I need. Boom, right here. This is it. What is up, everyone? It is yet another vlog of me at the shop. I only got a couple weeks left here, like 3 to be exact, I think. I don't even know. Tiny house siding is all done. The siding, I still need to trim the windows with the finished trim, as well as finish off the roof. Talking about the roof, here are my roof panels. This is just a plastic piece that is we peel off. This is how the roof sticks together here. Oh, this is sitting on the wall of what's going to be inside the bathroom, and I will show you guys that after it's done. And hopefully I can end this vlog with me going up to my property and seeing the driveway cut in, just everything done to put the tiny house on. I'm super excited about all that. The roof, I went with a standing seam, you know, 16-inch wide panel. I got this metal, it's just sheet metal. I think it's 29 gauge. No, excuse me, roof is 26 gauge. Siding, I think, was 29 gauge. Ordered it from Home Depot. Super easy to do. Not any way sponsored by them. It was just the easiest way for me to do and cheapest. So they use a third party, and that company just, you know, is the subcontractor for Home Depot. That's all it is. Advanced lock or Advantage lock. I think it's Advantage lock, which is a type of standing seam that is, you push it to connect. So this can't come apart. I tried pulling apart. I don't have 2 hands because I got 1 hand holding the camera, but if I put the camera down and I was like to try and pull it apart, I can't pull it apart. The reason I'm bringing all that up is what's I'm about to talk about, which are how I'm going to mount my solar panels. So the solar panel mounts that I got were this company, or this brand that's called S5 or S-5. Again, I paid for it. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. There have been a lot of people on other videos, because I've talked about the S5 before. Everybody's like, oh, that's gonna fail, it's gonna fail. I talked to people extensively about this product. 99.9% of the time, it is fine. That very slim chance, it is typically user error. And this is a very good point of it almost became user error. I got the S5, boom, right there. And I believe I got the E series, which it doesn't say it right there. It says it right there, E, it's engraved in there. This particular thingamahoozy here is designed to go onto the seam, but this one luckily doesn't fit. And as soon as I took it out of the box, I knew that, because I didn't know what type of standing seam I had. And I was just like, oh, I'll just order the S5E series. And I was very incorrect with that. So I knew that wasn't going to fit. Luckily, I called the company I bought it from, which you can't buy it from S5 directly, but there is a company that's called buys-5.com. And I called them, super helpful. Talked to one of the managers over there, and he was like, what kind of roof do you have? And I told him where I bought it from. He immediately knew the exact brackets I needed. Why are these so nice? I don't have to do any roof penetrations. The less roof penetration, the better. You do not want to have a leaky roof. I said I was in a high wind area because it is a tiny house and it's going to be mobile. So I added, they only recommend really like 4 clips, 1 in each, you know, on the sides or whatever. But they said if you're in high winds, go 3 on each side, because my panels are like 60 some odd inches long. I have 36 of these bad boys, right? And then I've got the clamps that go on top of it and to hold it all into place and all that stuff. And I'll do a whole video on that when it's done. I just wanted to mention that ordering the right part is super essential. And now I have to send them back, pay a restocking fee. You know, I lose out on money, but luckily they did honor my refund, because again, that was a dumb move on my part. This is these are the clamps that actually, you know, you can maybe see the profile there. I'll get out of the way. But that clamps down, that screws into the top of that S5 and it clamps it down. Those are for the middles, by the way, so it's clamps on both sides, and I think they have ends in here somewhere. Let me finish this up. I gotta sort this all out. There's my box of all the stuff that it came in. but I got to sort it all out because I need to send back all of those clips, and I ordered the new ones, or the ones that I need. And let me get back to this wall situation. I'm installing my 12-volt fan. I've got an access panel that's covered up by a mirror. You guys will see all that when I put it into the bathroom. There's always a silver lining in everything that we do, right? There's always the brighter side of things. I'm excited to move out of this shop space that I have been leasing for the last year. One, I don't have to pay rent for shop anymore, which has been over $2,000 a month for me for the past year. It's a lot of money. The other thing to leaving the shop and saving on rent is I get to completely organize all of my crap that I've accumulated over the last year. I want to show you some images of what the shop looked like when it was empty, and it was nice and it was beautiful, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I miss it. Now I have to move all of this up to a storage unit that I've got for the temporary situation right down the road. Organizing all this stuff, that's like, it takes up a lot of my days, but at the same time, it's really nice to kind of purge that and like get rid of the things. Like I get to go through all of these black and yellow bins here, and I get to like say, okay, what do I not really need anymore? I'm going back into, you know, minimalist living, which has been, you know, something that I pride myself on, and I'm so excited to just either give away stuff, you know, donate it, you know, sell some stuff, you know. So yeah, that's what I gotta go through here. Yay! All right, let's go inside. I have my portable lights on, and it's not, you know, I'm not running off a battery, so I just got my HART lights working right now. However, I did turn on my lights yesterday, and I did a nice little Instagram video, reel, whatever. I also did a short that's also on this channel that I did a complete walkthrough. It was a minute long. I showed you guys in the last vlog, I showed you guys my bed down and everything, so I don't really have to go into that. But somebody did comment on the short. They're like, hey, is your bed, is it like just not cozy? And he said something about the bed, and I was like, that's not my bed, man. That's my lounge area. Chillax area. Chillax. Who uses that term anymore? So this area is pretty much done. I've got like minor things to do. I will give you an example. Well, I gotta get a TV. I got a trim piece that goes on right here. I need to put a piece of trim on. I gotta finish up the backsplash. The backsplash needs a piece of trim that goes around that. I talked about this a few weeks ago. This is this is the all new, I should say, Brava oven glass. They just released it the day that I am releasing this video. This whole front is glass. Pretty much it gives a whole light show when it turns on, and it's, oh my goodness, fantastic. I specifically knew that I was going to use the Brava. It's going to be 90% of my cooking. I have a portable induction that I'll be using in here. I even had my kitchen counter cut out specifically for the Brava. The other thing that's really cool that they just got is they got a wireless temp sensor, like a meat sensor. I also mentioned them in another video, and they messaged me and they were like, hey, you said about 2,000 pre-made meals. There's more like 8,000. 8,000 pre-made meals that are, and when I plug this in and I show it off, you guys will see in the future videos how easy it is for me to like cook a nice, beautiful steak that I will probably have my first meal in here. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my door. I got my front door here. Right now it's just a regular old white door. But to match the exterior, I'm thinking about going black. I've got black windows. I got all of my accents on the outside are black. I know that's like really unconventional, but you know what? This entire tiny house is unconventional. So maybe you guys can let me know in the comments below what you guys think I should do. A black door. And then to the bathroom. This is what I've been working on for the last, I guess today. I put that wall up. For anybody that saw in the other videos, that is actually a false wall. It's about 8 inches off of the outside wall. So there's an air gap back there. Many different reasons why we're doing that. One is I have all of my plumbing back here that can now reach sink, can also reach this sink over here, and my washer dryer that's going to be here. So all of those are going to be draining out. And then I have my shower, which we just brought one of the T's from the water pump up into the ceiling and over to my rain shower head, which is going to be right here. This wall was a complete pain in the patoot. I've got a medicine cabinet that also doubles as a access panel. So that will be able to remove if I need to access anything back there. Most of the stuff I need to access is up in this section over here, or also down below, which I'm gonna have a drawer down here eventually, which I could take out and completely and access all of my water pump or my accumulator pump or whatever back there if need be. And then lastly, behind the mirror, you might be able to see the outline of the mirror. I will throw up an image of what that looks like. The mirror is also going to act as an access panel. I have it on a double hook situation, so it hooks to the top and it hooks on the side. So you hook it in, scooch it over, and then it locks into place. So once I tile up this wall, which I gotta do here soon, I will put a glass wall right here, and then that will be my entrance into the shower. So this is really the last bit of work that I have to do. I do want to spend really the end of this video up at the land. I want to go up there. I want to show you guys what's going on. They have been working all day at it. I've been getting pictures of the land, and they cut the driveway in, and now they've been removing all the topsoil and getting the rest of it kind of leveled out and ready for the tiny house to be placed onto. So excited to do that. So I got to drive 3+ hours up to Maine and then another 3+ hours back down here, all in one day. Very excited about that. And then I'm doing a hard 2-week push to get everything done here, packed up, gone up to Maine. Maybe I won't show the tiny up until I get it onto property and you guys can see that happen. See how it works out. See all my anxiety just skyrocket. But let's go to the land and check things out. I don't want to get in these guys way too much, but this is the land. These guys are working. I can't do this stuff. This is one of those examples where I would just hire somebody. There's the landing pad for the tiny house. They're making the driveway now. This is one of those moments where I'm going to be like, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm going to hire a pro. Can I do this? Yeah, I could rent equipment. I could do this. It would take me a month of Sundays. It's a phrase, by the way. It would take me a while. What's the point when I can just hire these guys? This is in 2 days. 2 days. This was all brush. There were trees over here. They brought the driveway up, and now I have a space for the tiny house. I have a space for a little shed, my trash bins. I get space for everything I need. Boom, right here. This is it. I'm gonna have to figure something out. The trees and the shade and the solar, but other than that, I'm good. These guys are awesome. I'm going to be hiring them again to do the land clearing on the other side for when I'm ready to do that. They also do septic systems, so they're going to be doing my septic system as well. I'm actually pretty much standing right where the septic system is going to go. They got a third team member, so I got one guy who's out here with a rake, you know, leveling this area out. Yeah, this one over here with whatever piece of equipment that's called, and they got another piece of equipment that's grabbing all this. They called it like a hard packed gravel dust, and after it dries up, after it gets wet and then it dries out, it's like hard, like not a concrete, but it's pretty hard. It's hard packed. I'll be able to drive the tiny house right up the driveway. I don't know what size that is, but it's not, I don't know, 50-60 feet to the road. Let's walk down to the road and we'll check things out. Again, I don't want to get hit by that thing. This is the cut-in on the road. This was not here, guys. Legitimately. And now, all of a sudden, boom. I've got a driveway. It's the main road here. This is where I was standing the other day, or last couple weeks ago, when I was like, hey, this is where I'm going to be doing stuff. And now there's a driveway. I'm going to have to watch that power line coming in with the tiny house, but that is it. Let's go back over here and make sure my girl's okay. My puppet dog. Glacier. Hi, sweet pea. She's just hanging out, so. You look so sad. She's gonna be happy when she gets a nice little area to run around in. This is the stream or the creek that runs through my middle of my property. Now, there are setbacks with this. I have to have the driveway a certain distance away. That driveway does meet that requirement. stream, it's pretty much dried up in the summertime because it's a runoff from the mountain, but there is a little bit of water in there, not too much though. And then the property goes all the way down here, which I'm gonna hire these guys yet again to do some clearing over here for me. And I'm gonna put a second space over here. Now this is all just dense woods. Where these stakes are right here, I'm gonna put another driveway in. It's gonna go straight up, and then we're pretty much gonna level this whole area and take down some of this. We're gonna actually hopefully put my like 2-car garage shop space, maybe a rental A-frame. I don't know, we'll see. We're gonna play out what I'm gonna do here in the future. I don't know. I need money. So there's that too, obviously. Like, this is costing a lot of money. This is the things you have to think about when having land and property. Close to 20 grand over there. You know, septic system, that could be another 10 to 20,000. Water well, that can be another, you know, $8, $9, $15,000 bill. One of the reasons why I bought this property is because the things that are around me. Number one, it's in Maine. Why did I pick Maine? They're very tiny friendly, and just it's a great state overall. It's in the Northeast. It's a very like unappreciated or underrated state, I should say. I have a ski mountain a couple miles down the road. Trailheads for hiking. I've got a lake across the street. Down, these are my neighbor's properties, but down there, the end of their property is a lake. Now I don't have lakefront because that's expensive as all heck. Not even lakefront adjacent. I guess I'm across street lake. I don't know. You definitely want to stay tuned for what's coming up in the very near future. What I do with the land, I do more off-grid and sustainable living. I probably do another van. I don't know, maybe I convert a bus and I rent it out. Maybe I have the A-frame. Maybe I do a container home. Whatever it is, you guys will see it all happening on this channel. Now it's all going to be under the umbrella of Ghost Design and Build. We'll end with some B-roll of showing them what they do and how they do. And I will see you guys next week. Later.